Commissioner, I want to move on to yet another Liberal scandal. Did you have an opportunity to review the testimony of Mr. Stephen Anderson, who's the business partner of Justin Trudeau's minister from Edmonton, Randy Boissonnault? He recently appeared at the Ethics Committee. Did you have an opportunity to review that testimony, sir?
Opportunity. I read about it in the paper. I did not watch it personally.
So there's new evidence that was presented of a business-related text messages between Mr. Anderson and a client of Mr. Boissonnault's company. Now, in these messages, Mr. Anderson refers to Mr. Boissonnault 9 times, saying there's going to be a partner call. He went on to admit that there was only one Randy at the company. And we even saw in these text messages that Randy was in Vancouver, Randy in the text messages, the same time that Justin Trudeau's minister, Randy Boissonnault, was in Vancouver at the cabinet retreat. So the evidence of Randy Boissonnault being involved is quite heavy. It's contained in the text messages that were presented at the Ethics Committee. Does this new information require a further look into the matter by you? A brief answer, if you could, sir.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't give you a brief answer, but I'll give you an answer. Okay. As you raised this issue, no, you raised this issue with me before. I looked into it and saw whether there was a reasonable grounds to start. I became convinced that on September 8th, which was the day in question, I'm waiting for you because I'm talking to you. I want to see, make sure we both understand each other. It concerned September 8th. September 8th, there was no way Mr. Boissonnault offered to give me all the information on September 8th, his conversation, telephone conversations, emails, whatever. And we looked at all of that, and there was absolutely no way that there was contact between him and Mr. Anderson. Now this new stuff has come up, which I wasn't unaware of, and I wrote to Mr. Boissonnault again yesterday, and I said, I am concerned about these things now. Please, and these are September 6th and 7th. So far, I know there was no communication on September 8th because you were in cabinet locker and I have all the documents. Mr. Anderson's email suggests that he was in contact with you. Would you please provide me the same information for September 6th and 7th as you've done for 8th? When I get that, I will determine whether Mr. Anderson is using the name in vain or whether there was actually conversations.
Brief time left. I appreciate the answer that you're looking for more information from Mr. Boissonnault. Yeah. How can you be assured that you're receiving information from all of his text messages? We know that he used the app called Signal. We know he used other text messaging apps. Are you certain that you have the messages from all of the messaging applications that he used, including Signal and any other instant messaging application?
We specified in the letter that we want any means of communication electronically, it is between the two of them, whether it's, as you say, Signal or Skype or whatever you use, etc., or telephone contact. Once I get that information, I will be able to exercise my judgment, say, as a reasonable grounds to suspect that there was an involvement of Mr. Boissonnault in this, and therefore an investigation is launched, or really, no, his name is being used in vain by Mr. Anderson in order to give extra credibility to his emails.
Okay, I appreciate your answer.
That is the
time. Commissioner, the issue regarding Randy Boissonnault, I appreciate you've only reviewed the actual newspaper story of the report. You didn't actually listen to the committee. You didn't read the transcript. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Are you prepared to do that, given some of the concerns that have now been raised?
As I mentioned to you, I mean, the report, Mr.
Just yes or no, sir.
Look, I'm concerned because he admitted he lied.
Right.
He also, there are these emails that have emerged that use Randy 7 times, etc.
He was also supposed to provide us, sir, he was also supposed to provide the committee with additional emails, additional documentation, and actually the identity of the person that he claimed was auto-corrected 9 times. And he failed to comply with that order of committee. Does that concern you?
Yeah, of course. We hope it concerns you too, because we are talking about parliamentary process here, not my investigation.
And it would be naive for all of us to only conclude that what you received from Minister Randy Boissonnault were all the devices that he had access to. He could have accessed a burner phone. that he never supplied to you. He could have used another communication app that he never supplied to you. You agree with me, sir, that there are still ways of communication that he did not supply to you. That is possible, is it not?
You are assuming here basically quasi-criminal behavior. I'm going on this. I would just first of all want the evidence. Once I have the evidence,
you believe there are burner phones out there?
Of course there are burner phones.
And do you believe there are other communication apps other than Signal and WhatsApp?
I just answered the question to your colleague. I said for any kind of information, let me have the response from Mr. Boissonnault, and then I will decide whether they are credible and sufficient, or whether I need any more evidence. And then,
Thank you. Hypothetical. Assuming you conclude that Minister Randy Boissonnault has breached the act, what are the consequences to him? Very briefly.
If first of all, I would have to begin an investigation. If the investigation comes to that, I make a public report and I send it to the Prime Minister. It's up to the Prime Minister to decide what to do.
You're at half, Mr. Brock.
Thank you.
Mr. Genuis, you have 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Thank you, Chair. To the Ethics Commissioner, you've just confirmed that you are further investigating Randy Boissonnault in relation to the infamous Other Randy affair. A partner at Randy Boissonnault's company sent many text messages claiming to be in communication with Randy Boissonnault and receiving direction from Randy about the work of the company. If he was given that direction, then that would clearly be a violation of the law. By his own admission, the partner lied by claiming that there was another Randy at the company. He also absurdly claimed that in every case Randy was mentioned, this was autocorrect. So you told us that your previous investigation looked at September 8th. Now you're looking at other dates, and I certainly welcome the further investigation you're doing in this regard. I just want to clarify something from Mr. Brock's testimony. It sounds like in seeking information from Mr. Boissonnault, in seeking text messages across all apps, all possible phones, that you're essentially using the honor system, that you're expecting honorable members to be honorable in handing over all of the information you've requested and not hiding anything. Is that correct? Is that the way you operate?
Yeah, well, can I just correct your terminology? We're not investigating. We were looking first time, is there enough credible evidence or reasonable evidence to allow us to commence an investigation? We came to the conclusion now, no, there wasn't. Now that the further emails have come out, we have asked for further proof that was there or was there not communication between Randy Boissonnault and Mr. Anderson? Once that comes out, I will have to look at, see the information, and on that basis make a decision. Look, there are reasonable grounds or not. I can't answer your question now because I haven't got that evidence in front of me.
Okay, but I just want to clarify one piece. In your request for this information, you're using the honor system. You're asking Mr. Boissonnault for the information, and you're assuming that he's going to give you the information, and you're only using the information that he gives you. It's the honor system. Is that correct?
I wouldn't call it the honor system. I'm asking the person directly implicated to give me all the information that he has. On that basis, so if I do launch an investigation, I can put him under oath, I can put Mr. Anderson under oath, etc., and they would commit a criminal offense if they committed perjury.
In the initial stage.
Thank you. That is the time. You'll be able to come back to these if there's further questions. Mr. Perkins, you have the floor for 5 minutes in the last conservative round, or the last conservative spot.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commissioner. I'd just like to follow up briefly on Mr. Genuis's last question. So in the mysterious Randy emails and documents and the request access you had, just so I'm clear, it's on the honor system, I think you said, so that he is not compelled legally under oath or anything to provide you with all the documents. It's just an honor system. Is that correct?
Forward. When the things first erupted, he wrote to me and said, I'll do anything I can to clear my name. What do you need? And I said, I need the following regarding September 8th. And I basically, any kind of communications that you had on that day with Anderson. There was he gave me that, and now that September 6th and 7th are in, I say, well, but this is totally new information. Would you please provide me everything that kind of communications you had on those 2 days with Mr. Anderson? The issues obviously being whether you had good dealings with him or whether your name was used in vain in order to enhance the position of Mr. Anderson.
So he was supposed to provide everything, he didn't, then you went back to him. So you have no way of knowing whether or not you actually have every document.
My capacity to investigate him is based on my being able to have reasonable grounds to believe. I had a mere fact that his name was mentioned in an email on September 8th, nothing else. Even Randy didn't even say Boissonneau. It's not enough to launch an investigation to constitute reasonable grounds to believe that something is wrong. Now we have 2 more days, and which suddenly 7 times the name Randy is used. I want to know, first of all, from him, what were your communications, if any, on those 2 days? Once I have that, I will have to decide whether I have reasonable grounds to believe that an investigation is warranted.
Even though he was a 50% owner in the ultimate company that had very few employees. But
he's entitled to be an owner of a company. That's as long as he's a silent
very few employees. There weren't many Randys there, unless you believe one of the Liberal MPs who said it was Randy. But I'll move on to SDTC.